Hi, my name is Rob Burk, and I am the CEO of the U.S. Eventing Association. And I was very lucky to have grown up in the sport of eventing, and especially at a time when the long format was prevalent. Not only did I get to compete in the long format, but I also got to act as a groom. And actually, that's the first way I did it. I learned from seeing, I learned from some amazing horsemen and women from around the world. One really good memory I have was when I was a working student in Ireland with Captain David Foster and his family and his wife Sneezy. We had a horse, thoroughbred. We were actually, I think, a couple thoroughbreds, but one particular thoroughbred we were competing. Captain Foster was competing in Belgium at an event called Hasselt, and it was actually quite a warm summer, and you know, as is prevalent, you need to cool down the horse, and you need to cool down the horse effectively. And we only had limited things available to us. Like, we didn't have running water, we did have buckets of water, obviously, and we had these massive blocks of ice. We didn't have like little ice, we just had big blocks of ice. And so there wasn't really an efficient way to cool off the water with those blocks of ice. So I'll never forget this thoroughbred coming off of, phases A, B, C, D, E, but coming into the area where we could, into the vet area where we could cool them off and everything before they got rechecked. And in the box, having one of these blocks of ice handed to me, and I was essentially told to do one of two things: hold it up to the horse's jugular, underneath his neck, or between his hind legs. And I'll never forget, thinking to myself, I'm going to get killed today. But luckily, it was a really well-trained horse, and I think he was pretty hot, so he allowed me to hold that block of ice back between his hind legs. And it did continue on the competition, so obviously it cooled off quick enough. I think our technology and research has definitely improved over the years since then. Another little anecdote I'd love to tell you about when I was a rider. This was actually more recently, about 20 years ago, competing at Morven in what would now be the two-star long format there. And I had a mare, Gibbons Rolex. We called her, her barn name was Haley, but she was, her racing name was My First Kiss, Canadian thoroughbred. And I didn't own the horse. I was competing her for someone else. And when I showed up on the day of the competition and we were doing in-barn checks with the vets, the mare decided to go into a full-blown heat. And I'll never forget the vet delegates telling me, Regimate is allowed. You can't give this something to the horse, because she was quite affectionate, I'll say, with the veterinary staff. So she did go through the competition though, and she was fine. But I'll never forget that. And I still feel bad for the vet delegate that day. So those are some of my best memories. I got hundreds of them, but those are the two I'm going to tell you about today.